My name is Alina Sterling, and I am 29 years old. I live in the small town of Blackwood, Pennsylvania. To understand my story, you have to understand the history of my family. The Sterlings were once a great name in this part of the state. My ancestors were successful and highly educated people who helped build this community starting back in the 19th century. We have doctors, lawyers, and teachers in our family tree. But everything changed when it came to my grandmother, Beatrice. She was the dark spot on a bright record. Beatrice was the only child in her large family who was born with a heart of ice. While her siblings went out and made something of themselves, she chose to be a parasite. She never held a job a single day in her life. She never learned how to cook a meal or how to keep a house clean. Instead, she lived off her own mother for 50 years. She stayed in the family house and watched as her mother worked herself to the bone to provide for a grown woman who refused to lift a finger. My grandmother had one child, which was my mother, Sarah. Beatrice never wanted to be a mother. She never showed my mother an ounce of love or guidance. When my mother was a little girl, my grandmother would not even look at her. She did not help her with her schoolwork or attend a single parent-teacher conference. She did not even buy her basic school supplies. My mother told me stories about how her pencils would break and she would have to beg her classmates to borrow a pen because she had nothing to write with. It was humiliating for a child who came from a family that was supposed to be wealthy and educated. The worst part was the clothes. My grandmother refused to do laundry or buy new things for my mother. There was a time in middle school when my mother had to go to physical education class in the same pair of dirty, smelly jeans she had worn all day. She did not have a gym uniform. She did not have sneakers that fit. She just had the stench of neglect clinging to her. My mother was a brilliant girl with so much potential. The nuns at the local school saw how smart she was and offered to take her into their convent so she could have a real education and a stable life. My mother almost went just to escape the house, but she was afraid of what would happen if she left. Without any guidance, my mother grew up lost. She did not have the confidence to go to a big university like her cousins. She ended up taking a low-paying working-class job. Her potential was wasted because her mother was too selfish to care. This affected me too, because by the time I was born, we were poor. My mother could not help me navigate the world because she had never been taught how to do it herself. When my mother finally met my father, she moved out as fast as she could. She left Beatrice alone in that big, decaying house in Blackwood. We only visited once every few months to do the chores that Beatrice refused to do. I remember those visits so clearly. My father, my mother, and I would spend the whole weekend doing manual labor. We would store the firewood for the winter, cut down dead tree branches, and work in the garden. While we sweated and strained our backs, Beatrice would stand on her second-floor balcony. She would look down at us like she was a queen and we were her peasants. She never offered us a glass of water. She never said thank you. She just watched with a smirk on her face. But things started to change a few years ago. Beatrice started to lose her mind. The doctors call it dementia, but I call it a slow erasing of the monster she used to be. The strange thing is that as her memory faded, her personality seemed to flip. Suddenly, when she forgot who we were, she started wanting to help. It was the ultimate insult to my mother. For her whole life, Beatrice refused to help her own family, but she was always known in town for helping the neighbors. She would rake the grass for strangers or bake cookies for people she did not even know. She only reserved her cruelty for her own blood. One afternoon, while we were stacking wood, Beatrice actually came outside to help. A child from down the street walked by wearing a slightly torn jacket. Beatrice pointed at the child and said that those parents should be ashamed of themselves for letting a child look so messy and cold. My mother almost snapped. She wanted to scream at the woman who had let her go to school in smelly jeans for years. But she stayed silent because Beatrice did not even know who she was talking to. That was when I decided I was moving in. I told my family I would take care of her so we did not have to pay for a nurse yet. I moved into that house in Blackwood a year ago. I am 29 years old and I am spending my prime years living with a woman who does not know my name. Every morning, I introduce myself to her 5 times. She smiles at me like I am a kind stranger. She thinks I am a volunteer or a nice neighbor. Because she thinks I am a stranger, she is perfectly polite to me. And because she is polite to me, I have the perfect opportunity for my revenge. I take care of all the errands and the grocery shopping. I have complete control over what comes into this house. I only buy the absolute essentials for her. I buy the cheapest toilet paper that feels like sandpaper. I buy plain white bread and nothing else specifically for her. I prepare her meals, but they are the bare minimum. I make her plain oatmeal or a bowl of thin soup. But for the dog, a golden retriever named Buster, I go all out. Beatrice was always selfish with food. She never shared a scrap with any pet she ever had. Now I make sure she watches me feed the dog. I will cook a beautiful pan of pasta with bolognese sauce. I use fresh herbs and expensive Parmesan cheese. The smell fills the whole kitchen. Beatrice sits at the table with her dry toast and watches me set a gourmet meal down in front of Buster. The dog eats like a king while she has to smell the rich meat and cheese. She looks at me with hungry eyes, but she is too afraid to ask for some because she thinks I am a stranger who is just being kind enough to stay there. I also go out of my way to scold her. She never learned how to wash dishes because she never had to do them. She will put a plate in the sink and just run cold water over it. I stand over her and lecture her about how disgusting she is being. I tell her that only a lazy person would try to clean without soap. I make her feel small, the same way she made my mother feel small for not knowing how to do things she was never taught. The garden is where I really get my satisfaction. The garden used to be beautiful, but now it is overgrown because Beatrice would pick the vegetables before they were even ripe due to her confusion. I have stopped trying to grow food there. Instead, I use it as a work camp for her. Every single morning, regardless of the weather, I tell her that the garden looks like a mess. I say it in a very polite voice. I tell her that a woman of her status should not have such a shameful yard. Because I am a stranger to her, she is desperate to impress me. She will go out there immediately. I have a shed full of high-quality gardening tools with long handles so you do not have to bend over. But I do not give those to her. I went to the store and bought tools with very short handles. I give her a tiny hand rake and a small hoe. I tell her that she needs to pull every single weed by hand. I watch her from the balcony, the same way she used to watch us. I sit in a comfortable chair with a cold drink and watch this 80-year-old woman hunched over, straining her back to pull weeds that do not even matter. She could stop at any time. I am not her boss. But her brain tells her she must please the stranger in her house. This is her personal hell, and she does not even realize I am the one who built it for her. It is poetic justice for all the years my mother spent working in that same dirt while Beatrice watched from above. My mother comes to visit sometimes, and she sees Beatrice out there sweating in the sun. My mother just looks at me and nods. We do not have to say anything. We both know what is happening. The revenge is quiet, and it is constant. Sometimes Beatrice will find an old photo of my mother as a child. She will hold it up and ask me who the little girl is. I look her dead in the eye and tell her that the girl in the photo was a victim of a very cruel woman. Beatrice will cluck her tongue and say how sad that is. She has no idea she is the villain in the story. Every time I have to wash her clothes, I think about the smelly jeans my mother had to wear. I make sure to use the harshest, cheapest detergent I can find. I do not use fabric softener. Her clothes come out stiff and scratchy. When she complains that her skin itches, I just tell her that she must be imagining it. I treat her with the same cold indifference she showed to her own daughter for decades. The state of the house is also part of my plan. I keep my room and the kitchen spotless, but I let her room gather dust. I do not organize her things. I let her live in the same chaos she forced upon my mother. She often gets frustrated because she cannot find her glasses or her favorite hairbrush. I just shrug and tell her that she should have been more responsible with her belongings. It is the same thing she told my mother when my mother did not have school supplies. I am mirroring her life back at her, but the final act of my revenge is still coming. Beatrice is getting worse every month. Soon, she will not be able to walk or feed herself at all. When that day comes, we will move her into a retirement home. It is one of those places that looks nice on the outside but feels very lonely on the inside. I have already picked it out. It is far enough away that no neighbors will visit her. She will be surrounded by strangers, which is what she always wanted anyway. But I will visit her. I will visit her every single week. And every time I sit down in that small, sterile room, I am going to tell her the truth. I will tell her exactly who I am. I will tell her exactly who my mother is. I will list every single sin she committed. I will tell her about the broken pencils. I will tell her about the smelly jeans. I will tell her about the grandmother who sat on the balcony while her family worked. I know she will forget the conversation 10 minutes after I leave, but it does not matter. I will do it again the next week. And the week after that. I will become the ghost that haunts her final days. I will make sure that the last thing she hears in this life is the list of ways she failed as a human being. She spent 50 years being a parasite and 20 years being a monster. She does not deserve a peaceful end. She deserves to be reminded of the pain she caused until her mind finally goes completely dark. People in Blackwood think I am a saint for taking care of my grandmother. They tell me how kind I am to sacrifice my youth for her. I just smile and thank them. They do not know that I am not a caregiver. I am a jailer. I am the physical manifestation of all the trauma she passed down to my mother and to me. This house in Pennsylvania is not a home anymore. It is a place of reckoning. When she finally passes away, I will sell this house and give all the money to my mother. My mother can finally have the life she should have had. She can travel and buy nice clothes and never have to worry about a broken pencil ever again. Beatrice will be buried in the family plot, but nobody will cry. We will stand over her grave and feel nothing but the relief of a weight finally being lifted. I am 29 years old, and I have learned that revenge is a dish that is best served over a long period of time. It is not about one big moment. It is about the daily grind of making someone feel the consequences of their actions, even if they are too far gone to fully understand why. I will continue to feed the dog the best steak while she eats her plain bread. I will continue to give her the short-handled tools for the garden. I will continue to be the polite stranger who is actually her worst nightmare. This is the story of the Sterling family. We were successful, then we were broken, and now we are getting even. Blackwood is a quiet town, but inside this house, a battle is being won every single day. I do not feel guilty about what I am doing. Some people might say that you should be kind to the elderly, regardless of their past. But those people did not see my mother crying in a corner because she did not have a clean shirt for school. Those people did not see my grandmother smirking from a balcony while we did her work. Justice is not always found in a courtroom. Sometimes, justice is found in a garden full of weeds and a dog eating better than a queen. I am Alina Sterling, and I will make sure the cycle of trauma ends with me, but not before I extract every ounce of repayment that is owed. The town of Blackwood will remember the Sterlings as a great family again, because I am going to use her death to rebuild everything she tried to destroy. I will spend the next few years being the perfect stranger to her. I will keep my voice soft and my smile bright while I tighten the screws of her discomfort. Every time she winces when she bends over with that short rake, I think of my mother. Every time she sighs because she is hungry for the dog's food, I think of the empty pantry my mother grew up with. It is a long game, but I have plenty of time. I am young and I am patient. She is old and her time is running out. I will be there at the end, not to hold her hand, but to whisper the truth into her ear one last time. She will die knowing that she was not an aristocrat. She was just a woman who failed at the one thing that mattered, and her own granddaughter was the one to ensure she never forgot it. I often think about the nature of memory. They say that when people lose their memory, they become like children again. They are innocent and vulnerable, but Beatrice was never innocent. Even now, in her confused state, you can see the selfishness in her eyes. She only helps the neighbors because she wants their praise. She wants the world to think she is a good person. She does not do it out of the goodness of her heart. She does it for the image. That is why my revenge works so well. By being a stranger to her, I am using her own vanity against her. She works in the garden because she wants me to think she is a hard worker. She tries to wash the dishes because she wants me to think she is clean. She is performing for me, and I am a very demanding audience. I make sure she stays in character every single hour of the day. If she tries to sit down, I remind her that there are still weeds in the south corner. If she tries to complain, I tell her that I thought she was a woman of great strength. She will push herself until she collapses because she cannot stand the thought of a stranger looking down on her. It is a psychological trap that she built herself. I just provided the cage. My mother is finally starting to heal. Seeing Beatrice in this state, being controlled and humbled, has given my mother a sense of peace she never had before. She spent her whole life feeling inferior to her mother. Now, she sees that her mother is nothing more than a confused old woman who can be manipulated with a few kind words and a short-handled hoe. The power dynamic has shifted forever. When we finally put her in the home, it will be the final victory. We will take her to Sunset Pines. It is a facility on the edge of town. It is clean, but it is very cold. The walls are painted a dull gray, and the windows do not open very far. She will be just another number in a book. The nurses will not care about her family history or her status in Blackwood. They will treat her like they treat everyone else. She will lose her identity completely. And that is when I will begin my weekly visits. I have a notebook where I have written down every story my mother ever told me about her childhood. I have written down the dates and the details. I have a list of all the things Beatrice bought for herself while my mother had nothing. I have the names of the teachers who tried to help my mother and the names of the neighbors Beatrice helped while her own daughter suffered. I will read from this notebook every time I see her. I will make her listen to the history of her own cruelty. Even if it only stays in her mind for a second, that is a second where she has to face the truth. I will not let her die in a state of grace. I will make sure she dies in a state of accountability. This is not just for my mother. It is for all the women in our family who were held back by her. It is for my great-grandmother who had to work until her last breath to support a daughter who would not help her. It is for the potential that was snuffed out in a house on a hill in Pennsylvania. I am the one who will balance the scales. I am the 29-year-old woman who turned her life into a mission of justice. People might think I am cold, but I am just a product of what was given to me. I am a Sterling, and I am taking my name back. The house will eventually be empty. The garden will be mown over. The memories will fade for everyone else. But I will always know. I will always remember the year I spent playing the stranger to the monster. I will remember the look on the dog's face as he ate his Parmesan pasta. I will remember the sound of the small rake hitting the dirt. These are the sounds of my success. These are the sounds of revenge. In the end, Beatrice will be gone and Blackwood will be a better place for it. My mother will be free. I will be free. And the story of the Sterling family will finally have a satisfying conclusion. I plan to take the short-handled tools and throw them into the river when this is all over. I will burn the harsh detergent and the cheap bread. I will take Buster the dog and we will move to a place where the sun actually shines and the history does not taste like bitterness. But until that day comes, I have a job to do. I have a stranger to entertain. I have a grandmother to haunt. I have a legacy to dismantle, brick by brick and weed by weed. The winter in Pennsylvania is long and harsh, but I am warmer than I have ever been. The fire of my anger has turned into a steady, cold flame of purpose. I am Alina Sterling, and I am exactly where I need to be. I watch the clock every day. Every hour that passes is an hour she spends in her own personal prison. Every meal she eats is a reminder of what she lacks. Every word she says to me is a lie that I let her tell. We are living a play, and I am the director. I am also the writer and the lead actor. She is just a prop that I am moving around the stage. I will make sure the final curtain call is exactly what she deserves. No more aristocratic balconies. No more smelling like neglect. Just the cold, hard reality of a life wasted and a debt paid in full. I am looking forward to the day she moves to the home. That is when the real work begins. That is when I can stop being the nice stranger and start being the voice of her conscience. I will be the last thing she sees. I will be the last thing she hears. And she will finally, for the first time in her life, know exactly who she is and what she has done. That is the ultimate revenge. Not a quick strike, but a long, slow realization. A memory that resets every few minutes but hurts just as much every time. I am ready for it. I have been ready for it my whole life. The Sterlings are an old family, but we are not finished yet. We are just getting started on the most important chapter of all. The chapter where the monster finally pays. I walk through the halls of this old house, and I feel the weight of 100 years of history. I see the dust motes dancing in the light, and I think about how many people have lived and died within these walls. Most of them were good people. Most of them worked hard and loved their children. Then there was Beatrice. She is an anomaly. She is a glitch in the system of our family. I am the one who is fixing the glitch. I am the one who is setting things right. The town of Blackwood might be small and quiet, but it is the stage for a great drama. I am proud of the role I am playing. I am proud of the person I have become in order to do what needs to be done. My mother is proud of me too, even if she cannot say it out loud. We understand each other in a way that most parents and children do not. We are bonded by our shared enemy and our shared victory. The revenge is sweet, but it is also a heavy burden. It takes a lot of energy to maintain this level of control. It takes a lot of discipline to stay polite to a woman you despise, but I have that discipline. I have that strength. I am a Sterling, after all. We are known for our education and our success. My success just happens to be in the field of poetic justice. I will continue to serve her plain bread and cheap soup. I will continue to let the dog eat like a king. I will continue to send her into the garden with tools that make her back ache. And when the time comes to leave this house, I will do it with my head held high. I will leave the ghosts behind and take the future for myself. Beatrice will stay in her sterile room at Sunset Pines, surrounded by the truth I tell her every week. She will stay there until the end, and I will be there to see it. I will be there to witness the final moment when the parasite finally runs out of things to consume. That will be the day I truly start my life. That will be the day the Sterling name is finally clean. I am Alina Sterling, and I am 29 years old. I am a caregiver, a stranger, a judge, and a jury. I am the revenge that has been decades in the making, and I am not going anywhere until the job is done. The wind is howling outside right now, and the house is cold. I can hear Beatrice shuffling in her room, probably looking for something she has lost. I do not get up to help her. I just sit here and write my notes for the next visit. I think about the dog sleeping soundly after his gourmet meal. I think about my mother sleeping soundly in her own house, free from the shadow of her mother. Everything is as it should be. The world is finally making sense. The bad are being punished and the good are being rewarded. It is a simple lesson, but it took a long time to learn. I am glad I am the one who gets to teach it. Blackwood will never know the truth of what happened in this house, and that is fine. The truth is for me and my mother. The truth is for the notebook I will read at the retirement home. The truth is a weapon, and I am swinging it with perfect aim. I am Alina Sterling, and this is my story. It is a story of family and failure and the long road to justice. It is a story that ends with me winning, and that is the only ending that matters. I will look out the window tomorrow morning and see the garden. I will see the weeds that have grown overnight, and I will call Beatrice into the room and I will tell her that she has work to do. She will smile and thank me for the opportunity. And I will smile back, knowing that every weed she pulls is a payment on a debt that can never be fully repaid. But I am going to try to collect every cent. I am going to try to get every bit of justice I can, because that is what a Sterling does. We are successful and we are educated, and we always get what is ours. The sun will rise and the work will continue. The revenge is a living thing, and I am feeding it every single day. It is growing and it is strong. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever built, and I am going to see it through to the very end. The end is coming, and I am ready. I am more than ready. I am Alina Sterling, and I am in control. The town of Blackwood is quiet, but my heart is loud with the sound of victory. I will keep moving forward. I will keep fighting for my mother. I will keep being the stranger in the house. This is my life now, and I have never felt more alive. The revenge is mine, and I am going to savor every single moment of it. I am not a victim anymore. I am the one who decides how the story ends, and I have decided that it ends with me standing tall while the monster fades away into nothingness. That is the justice of the Sterlings. That is the justice of Blackwood. That is my justice. I am Alina Sterling, and I am 29 years old. I am living in Blackwood, Pennsylvania, and I am the hero of my own story. I will never forget what was done to us. I will never forget the smell of those jeans or the broken pencils. I will carry those memories like a shield. They protect me from feeling pity for a woman who never felt pity for anyone else. They remind me why I am here. They remind me why I am doing this. I am a warrior in a quiet house. I am a ghost hunter in a place full of ghosts. And I am winning. I am winning every single day. The revenge is constant and it is perfect. I will continue to be the polite stranger. I will continue to be the one who provides. I will be the one who controls the narrative. This is the final chapter of Beatrice Sterling, and I am the one who is writing it. It is a chapter of humility and hard work. It is a chapter of silence and isolation. It is exactly what she earned. I am happy to be the one to give it to her. I am happy to be the one to see it through. The night is long, but the morning is coming. And with the morning comes more weeds to pull and more gourmet meals for the dog. I am ready. I am always ready. I am Alina Sterling, and I am the master of this house. The history of the Sterlings is being rewritten in my image, and it is a beautiful sight to see. I will look at my mother and see the joy in her eyes, and I will know that it was all worth it. Every hour of caregiving, every lie I told, every short-handled tool I bought, it was all for her. It was all for us. The cycle is broken. The debt is being paid, and I am the one who is collecting it. This is my revenge. This is my story, and it is exactly how I wanted it to be. I am Alina Sterling, and I am 29 years old. I am a daughter, a granddaughter, and a force of nature. I am the one who remembered when everyone else forgot, and I am the one who will make sure she never forgets again, not until the very end, not until there is nothing left but the truth. And the truth is that I won. We won. The Sterlings are back, and we are stronger than ever. The town of Blackwood can sleep soundly, knowing that justice is being served in the house on the hill. I am the one serving it, and I am not finished yet. I am just getting started. The revenge will continue. The lessons will be taught, and the story will be complete. I am Alina Sterling, and I am the final word. Every morning when the light hits the floorboards, I feel a sense of calm. I walk into her room and see her lying there, an old woman who has no idea of the storm that is living with her. I greet her with a kind voice. I ask her how she slept. I am the perfect stranger. I am the perfect caregiver. And inside, I am the perfect judge. I spend my days orchestrating her penance. I make sure she feels the weight of her 80 years in every bone when she works that garden. I make sure she feels the sting of my scolding when she fails to clean. I am molding her into the person she should have been 70 years ago. I am teaching her the value of labor. I am teaching her the value of hygiene. I am teaching her the value of respect for others. She is learning these lessons too late to change her life, but she is learning them nonetheless. It is a grim sort of education, but it is necessary. I look at the dog, Buster, and he looks back at me with gratitude. He knows who feeds him. He knows who loves him. He is a part of this story too. He is the living proof of her selfishness being overturned. When he eats his steak and his pasta, he is eating for every pet she ever ignored. He is eating for every time she denied someone else joy. He is the king of this house now, and Beatrice is just the worker in the yard. It is a reversal of roles that feels right in my soul. I sometimes think about what my grandfather would think of this. He was a good man who worked hard and died too young. He was the one who kept the family together while Beatrice tried to pull it apart. I think he would be proud of me. I think he would be glad that someone finally stood up to her. I think he would be happy to know that Sarah is finally finding peace. The house is full of his things, and I feel his presence sometimes. He is the one who gives me the strength to keep going when the days are long. He is the one who reminds me that the Sterling name is worth fighting for. I am the keeper of his legacy. I am the one who is cleaning up the mess his wife made. It is a big job, but I am the right person for it. I am 29 years old and I have the wisdom of someone much older. I have seen the damage that one person can do to a family. I have seen the way that trauma can ripple through generations. And I have seen the way that one person can stop it. I am that person. I am the wall that the trauma hits and stops. I am the one who is turning the bitterness into a tool for justice. I am Alina Sterling and I am not afraid. I am not afraid of the future and I am not afraid of the past. I am the master of the present. I am the one who decides what happens next. And what happens next is that Beatrice continues to pay. She pays in sweat and she pays in confusion. She pays in the thin soup and the dry bread. She pays every time I look at her and see a stranger instead of a grandmother. She has lost her family because she never valued them. Now she has only me, the stranger who knows her secrets. She has only me, the woman who will ensure her final days are full of the truth she tried to hide. It is a heavy thing to carry, but I am strong enough for it. I have the blood of the Sterlings in my veins. I have the intelligence of my mother and the grit of my ancestors. I am the best of them, and I am the worst nightmare of the one who failed them. I will continue this path until the very end. I will not falter. I will not give in to a false sense of mercy. Mercy is for those who earned it. Beatrice earned something else entirely, and I am the one who is delivering it. The town of Blackwood will always be my home, and this house will always be my victory. I am Alina Sterling, and I am exactly who I was meant to be. The story is long, but it is a good one. It is a story of a daughter's love and a granddaughter's justice. It is the story of the Sterling family, and it is finally being told correctly. I will continue to write the pages every day with my actions. I will continue to be the force that balances the scales. And when the book is finally closed, I will know that I did the right thing. I will know that I did it for my mother. I will know that I did it for myself. And I will know that the Sterlings are finally, truly free. The sun is setting over Pennsylvania now, and the sky is a deep purple. It is a beautiful sight. I will go downstairs and prepare the dog's dinner. I will make him something special tonight, and I will give Beatrice her piece of bread. And we will sit in the quiet of this old house and wait for the morning to come, because tomorrow is another day for justice. Tomorrow is another day for revenge, and I am ready for it. I am Alina Sterling, and I am 29 years old, and I am just getting started. I am living my truth in this small town, and I am making the world a little more fair, one weed at a time. The revenge is sweet, but the peace is even sweeter. And I have both. I have everything I need right here in Blackwood. The story is mine, and I am telling it well. I am the stranger she fears and the granddaughter she never deserved. I am the end of her era and the beginning of mine. I am Alina Sterling.